Putin's talking up of the use of nuclear weapons reminds one of the principle, Milchama Nami Ischalta de Geula, as it says in the Gemara Megillah. Warfare is also a beginning of the redemption. Fortunately, Vladimir Putin, who was once a KGB colonel and has become a fervent born-again Russian Orthodox Christian, who forcibly apocalyptically talks of martyrdom with his enemies if Russia is attacked, and of forcibly renaming Istanbul back to its former Christian name of Constantinople, seems to be a Judophile, as the chief rabbi of Russia, Rabbi Beryl Lazar, will confirm. A Judophile. Yechezkel 38 and traditions from the Vilna Gaon, Rav David Luria, Rav Shimshon of Ostropol, and Rav Moshe Sternbuch indicate that war involving the Black Sea, Russia, Moscow, Tobolsk, Turkey, the Bosphorus, the Dardanelles, Crimea, and the Strait of Kerch may be portents of Mashiach. The very name Ukraine derives from the name of the city of Ekron in the Tanakh, the original Ukrainians being of Philistine origin, says the Sefer Hadras Chaim by Rav Noach Weintraub. The Ukrainians are of Philistine origin, and who in the future are destined to be uprooted, as it says in Zephaniah chapter 2, Ekron ta'aker, literally Ekron will be uprooted, which can be read as Ukraine will be uprooted. The eunuch of Stalin, a big Rebbe, said, the Ukrainians have no right to a state or to independence. Ukraine is said to have the most fertile topsoil on earth because it is so drenched and soaked in Jewish blood. It is well known that of all of Hitler's volunteers, Latvians, Estonians, Lithuanians, Dutchmen, Belgians, Frenchmen, Spaniards, Bosnian Muslims, Norwegians, Croats, and Cossacks, the very cruelest and the most murderous of them all were the Ukrainians. Ki eish kodcha ba'api vatikad ad Shaul tachtis vatochel eretz v'yavula ustlahet moste horim, as it says in the closing chapters of the Chumash, Dvorim 32, for a fire is kindled in my nostrils that will burn to the depths of Shaul, to the pits of purgatory, and devour the earth and her produce, and will set ablaze the foundations of the mountains. Vatlahet moste horim. Rabbi Baruch Horowitz Shlita stated that a brocha, a special blessing, should be instituted after Shacharis every morning, that there has not yet been a nuclear war. To quote Rav Avigdor Miller, 1984, the USA must double and redouble its production of atom bombs. Double and redouble. Hassidus refers to the infinite chokhmah of Hashem that is concentrated in matter as being the koach ma, chokhmah, koach ma, the potentiality of what is. The release of the vast binding energy in the atomic nucleus is a mere remez, a mere soupçon of the potential of that powerful potential of Hashem. Midrash Shir Hashirim speaks of the Mashiach coming in a generation deserving of destruction, and indeed that will be capable of destroying itself. Hinei Hashem bokek ha'oretz uvolka ve'iva faneha ve'hefitz es yoshveha. Hashem will empty the earth and make it waste and utterly despoiled. The earth will mourn and wither. The world will languish and fade away. The earth also is defiled under its inhabitants because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore the curse has devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. The inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men will be left. Desolation is left in the city, and its gate is battered to ruins. Yeshaya 24. And from Yirmiyah 25, Bo sha'on ad ktsei ha'oretz ki rivla Hashem bagoyim. A noise will reach even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord has a quarrel with the nations, with the Gentiles. Evil will go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind will be raised up from the coasts of the earth. And the slain of the Lord will be many on that day, from one end of the earth to the other. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They will be as excrement, as dung on the ground. Yirmiyah 25. V'haya b'chol ha'oretz ne'um Hashem pi shnayim bo yukaresu yigva'u v'hashlishis yevater bo. It will come to pass that in all the earth 2/3 will die. That's 66 2/3%. And I will bring the third through the fire and refine them. And this will be the punishment of the nations. Their flesh will consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes will dissolve away in their sockets, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouths. Zechariah 14. Masa Damasek, hine Damasek, Musa me'ir, v'haisa me'i mapala. Damascus will cease being a city, it will become a heap of ruins. Yeshaya 17. With the power of the atom bomb, a person can be standing and then in the next second, before he hits the ground, be completely consumed. Before the atom bomb, no weapon had the ability of such destruction. To quote the Vilna Gaon, the war of Gog and Magog will last 12 minutes. V'tzim miyad kitim ve'inu ashur ve'inu ever v'gam hu ade oved. At the time when warships will come to attack Assyria and Aver, which some read as Syria and Iran, this is from the Chumash, Bilam, the prophet, stated in his last words, Oy mi yechyeh misubo el. Alas, woe, oy, he writes. Who will survive when Hashem does this? Rab Nachman of Breslov predicted about Russia, near the time of the Geula, near the time of the redemption, all that will be left of the Russian Empire will be a little tree on a little hill. Go tell that to Putin. Ki hineni boreh shamayim chadashim ba'aretz chadasha v'lo sizacharna harishonos v'lo me'ilna alev. May soon be fulfilled Hashem's promise. Behold, I will create a new heaven and a new earth, and the former one will not be remembered nor even come to mind. Yeshaya 65. Letter number 2. The Nuremberg law chart showed how Hitler, who was obsessed with the concepts of Aryan blood versus Judenblut, Jewish blood, got himself into quite a tizwoz over deciding who was sufficiently Jewish, of Jewish ancestry, to be of interest to the Nazis. Whereas Jewish law defines a Jew simply as someone born of a Jewish mother or who converted according to Halacha, it was solely blood ancestry that obsessed the Germans, they requiring at least one Jewish parent on either side, father or mother, or 3 Jewish grandparents in order to warrant extermination. Although being of part Judaic stock, the Germans accepted the claims of the Karaites that they were not Jews, and they spared them. The Germans spared the Karaites, believing that because of their Turkish dialect, they were not members of the Semitic race. Rav Miller stated, Geirei Tzedek, righteous converts, Kol HaKavod to them, are full Jews, but they are not blood descendants of the Avot. They are not blood descendants of the patriarchs, and a person's religiosity counted for nothing to the Germans, who would not knowingly expend one bullet or one whiff of Zyklon B gas on a Gentile who had converted to Judaism. Although at the time of the Holocaust there were very few converts, very few Gerim in Europe, a Ger would probably have been able to save his life if he could convince the Germans that although he was a Jew according to Jewish law, he was not a Jew according to their Nazi Nuremberg racial laws, he not being in possession of any Jewish blood in his veins. The third letter. The UK recently passed the Assisted Dying Bill, which reminds one of the slippery path that could yet lead to the murderous logic of the Action T4, Action T4. Action T4, Action T4, was the Nazis' pre-war involuntary mercy-killing program, known as Gnadentod, whereby they killed, by injection or carbon monoxide gas, 200,000 incurably sick German Gentiles, 200,000 of their own people, and another 100,000 in other European countries, on grounds of relief from medical suffering. The next stage is voluntary life termination, even of healthy adolescents, merely on grounds of feeling depressed, as is already happening in Belgium. And then the next stage, involuntary euthanasia, and then outright medical murder, akin to Joseph Mengele of Auschwitz, and more recently, Dr. Harold Shipman of Hyde, England, Chas v'shalom. The average life expectancy of the previous generation was 70. Today, with huge numbers now living to 80, 90, 100, and even 110, causing housing, inheritance, pension, and health service crises, the urgent desire to empty out hospital beds is sure to result in further liberalization of withdrawal of sustenance, continuous deep sedation, and in some countries, euthanasia. Compare this to the now abolished British National Health Service Liverpool Care Pathway Programme that claimed, and the tens of thousands of elderly patients in old age homes in the USA who were killed off deliberately during COVID. Horrifyingly, the Nazis had plans, had they won the war, to exterminate worldwide 10 million non-Aryans annually, 10 million people per year. If the redemption, the Geula, is going to be begvura, with rigor, then indeed, Hinei Hashem bokeh ka'oretz ubolka. Behold, the Lord may yet empty out the earth and make it deserted. Yeshaya 24. The world population is now starting to go into slow decline for the first time since the Mabul. The world population has started to slowly decline this year. The Orthodox Jew and the Amish of the USA, both of whom are totally committed to the command Pru Ravu, be fruitful and multiply, they are virtually the only groups in the world who are actually increasing in numbers. All other races are actually decreasing in number, with the white man scheduled to become virtually extinct by the end of the century. Within 75 years, the only white man left may literally be in a museum. We hope for Geula Barachamim, because Lo Sohu Vara Lasheves Yatra. The Lord did not make the earth to be empty, he made it to be inhabited. Isaiah 45.